All right, let's start with a look at the suspension. So, well, actually suspension and brakes. So we're gonna go ahead and start at the back of the car again. This is the AP Racing Radical kit. So this is their, race, big brake kit. So the rear ones, I got actually fairly new pads here. The front ones I think are a little more impressive. I just put new rotors and pads on it, so we'll talk about that when we get up there. You can also see in here, these are the DSC Sport tractive coilovers. So, again, the people that have just been awesome to work with, very top of the list have been DSC Sport and AP Racing. So I was one of the first people to, I think, use their C7 AP Racing kit back on my 2015. I had that kit and literally moved it from my 2015 to my 2017, from my 2017 to the ZR1. There it met its end at the ZR1. I bought another one when I did this car. So they've been fantastic as far as support, giving me suggestions, letting me try out some brake pads. It's been pretty awesome. But DSC Sport has also been just phenomenal. So particularly Mike Levitas, Tom Chan, all those folks have just been just a wealth of knowledge and spent a lot of time just talking me through things and educating me. So I've been running their DSC Sport controller since I had my 2015. That was kind of the very beginning of their Corvette kind of controller line. Later on, I then put the tractives on that car. So that was basic. So the tractive shocks, I guess I should point out, they're different than the MR shocks that are on the car natively, right? So they're a dynamic shock, but what they have is instead of having a magnetic fluid that changes viscosity with electricity, they have a ultra quick computer controlled valve like a standard shock. So this thing has all the dynamic range, super quick reaction, but none of the kind of side effects of having a fluid that as it heats up, its viscosity will change and its behavior will change. The other nice thing is you can actually revalve these things. So if you don't like the range that's in the shock, you can go in there and put a different shim stack in it, adjust it. So again, Mike's just been phenomenal and been a huge help to me. And then this latest evolution, which is new for me this year, was doing these coilovers. So basically adding the spring seats to the already threaded shock bodies. And in my case, I'm running the remote reservoir. So you can actually see the reservoir line coming off the shock, going up around behind it. And then K-Tech actually did this for me. This isn't initially how I had it mounted, but they mounted it to two holes that were already there in the frame. So pretty nice, pretty trick. The tie rod ends are the Granatelli toe links with the AMT Motorsports blocker kit. So basically it gets rid of the eccentrics altogether. Also, I should mention this now, AMT Motorsports is also where I got the Spherical Bearing Kit. So basically getting rid of all the slop and the rubber bushings, replacing it with just bearings. And these have been, it was a huge difference in feel. Like you could just feel everything, particularly in the front of the car with the bearings. So that's been phenomenal. And then you can see a little bit here, the big blue LG sway bars. This for me is kind of the latest addition. I've been messing around with all kinds of GM factory sway bar combos. Couldn't quite get it where I liked it. Finally, I saw that somebody who had a similar setup was running the LG bars. They're really happy. I'll admit I've been sort of skeptical about people just throwing bars on cars and not really sure what they're trying to accomplish, but these have been great. These have been a huge improvement in the car. So really helped kind of settle the balance for me. And then I've got their adjustable end links also. So that's the rear suspension. We're gonna go around and look at the front suspension and brakes. By the way, the C8 caught a rock on the track. Not cool. If anybody knows where I can get a windshield, that'd be nice. Apparently they're on back order. So here we go. This is the AP Racing front kit. This is the 372 millimeter brake kit. I didn't go with the bigger 390 millimeter rotors because I wanted to run 18-inch rim. So I run pretty much exclusively used Pirelli scrubs. There's a stack of them over there that just came off the car. They actually probably had some life left in them. But, brand new set of rotors here. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Fresh set of pads. Here's a fun trivia thing. If you've ever seen any of Essex Parts ads, where they see someone with their hand holding a set of the pads over a yellow and blue and gray garage floor, That'd be me. I'm still waiting for my royalty check for being a hand model, but it's okay. They've been good to me. Again, back behind there, I'm gonna turn the phone. Again, you can see the coilovers. Now, again, you've got the wire. Let's see, where is it? Back here. That goes from the back of the shock. I've got it tied up to the, back behind the brake line, and then running up into the engine compartment. If you notice this here, I just have this on one side. It's probably not necessary, but my brake line angle is actually a little off. It probably should be tilted a little more this way. I didn't want to mess with it because I didn't want to run a risk of have to put new copper crush washers in it. And there was just a very slight rub. So I thought, well, I'll take a piece of rubber hose, wrap some electrical tape around it just to give me a little bit of a buffer in case there's any rubbing there. So turn it back the other way. Hopefully this doesn't get all messed up on the camera. And there's your look at the front suspension and front brakes. So let's go underneath the car. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up in the air a little more so I don't have to duck under it. Sticker for my buddies at Racing for ALS. Scott and David Lloyd, love you brothers. So I talked in the last video about the motor. Frankly, I'd have to get out my notes to get all the speeds and feeds of all the great things that K-Tech did to it, but it's a beast. I don't know if you can see this, but some of the nice little touches they made is, there is a, where's my light? I don't have my light here, darn. There's actually, does that work? Yeah, you probably can't see it. Anyway, there's a laser cut plate here that mounts the oil cooler to the front, and it's got K-Tech laser etched into it, so it's pretty cool. Brake ducts are basically these standard Z07 brake ducts. You can see again, this is the under tray from the Extreme Online kind of ZR1 replica splitter. And it's nice because it fits right up in there. This is a factory piece here, so I had to buy another one. This is a factory GM OEM piece, and pretty much bolts right up in there. So you see a little oil here. That's actually from when I was changing the oil. I basically spilled some in there. Now up under the car, a couple things. You can see K-Tech relocated the oil filter to right here, kind of right above the radiator support. Seems like that's an awesome place. It would make oil changes a dream. It's not. In fact, it's a real pain because you can't get the oil filter off without hitting the sway bar. So you actually have to undo the bracket and move the whole bracket. So hopefully that's something they can address. Again, you can see some of the plumbing to the ARE dry sump system. You see their pan. Again, I got to clean up a little bit of the mess down here. I also have some oil that blew out of the catch can because I didn't empty it in time. So I got to get all that cleaned up before I go to the track. From an exhaust perspective, the headers are the Kooks headers and their X-pipe. And then in the back, I've got the Akrapovic axle back system. So part of that nasty noise this thing makes is from that combination of the exhaust along with all the motor work that they've done. So you kind of get a nice look there at the beautiful artwork on those headers. Rest of it under here is pretty much standard C7. Not much unique, although you can see, again, some of the nice touches K-Tech did. They put some gold foil in here to try to contain the heat. Again, you see a lot of the oil lines for the dry sump system. RPM actually builds the transmission, the conversion. So it's a PPG conversion built by RPM, installed by K-Tech, electronics by Exoneering. It's a whole village to make this thing work, but it is freaking awesome. Another nice little K-Tech touch, engraving their name on the transmission there. And then the standard C7 E-diff, and we're back to the LG sway bars. Pretty interesting design. I didn't kind of realize how they worked when I'd gotten them or when I'd ordered them, but as you can see, it's basically a small tube inside a big tube. So this is thicker than this diameter, and that's how they get it into the stock brackets. That's pretty neat. It's made trying to figure out the spring rate's a little bit of an interesting job, but really nice. One more thing I'm going to show you. Measuring ride height has been kind of an ongoing question. You know, GM's got their procedure, they've got their tools. I found it to be a little bit problematic, and to some extent, I'm just trying to be consistent. So if you look underneath the cross members, there are these little circles in them. And so I've just painted the ones at the back of the rear cross member, and I've done the same thing at the front cross member. And what that allows me to do is, when it's on a 4-post lift, put a level down as a cross member, and then literally measure from here to basically the deck of the level. And that way I can get a very consistent ride height measurement, you know, every time I put it up on the lift. Here's the ones in the front. Oops. Again, the front of the front cross member. All right, and of course, no leaf springs, all coilover. All right, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're gonna ask me speeds and feeds and lots of details on what camshaft duration and all that and the motor, I'm gonna have to go look at my cheat sheet. But hope you all enjoyed this. Hope you all enjoy the track videos. And I'm getting ready to go to pit race this weekend. So everybody have a great weekend. Bye.